Welcome people, we end up back at it again with another video. I'm smiling today. The reason I'm smiling today is because of Chelsea Football Club. First of all, they made it through to the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League, beating Borussia Dortmund 2-0. But secondly, they made my investment of time very, very worthwhile. And I appreciate that. I truly appreciate that. Because by watching Chelsea yesterday, from 10 to 12, I gave up sleep. That's an extra 2 hours that I could have used to sleep, and I didn't, right? And they made it worthwhile. So I appreciate that. Now, in this match review, what I'm going to look at is how the game developed, what our players did right, and a few cases in which they went wrong, and what Graham Potter got right, and maybe what he could have done better. So let's start at the beginning and go over how the game played out. In the first 12 minutes of the game, Chelsea were the aggressors by far. It was very, very clear that we had the lion's share of possession and we were trying to actively do something with it. We weren't just trying to play, we weren't just trying to pass the ball around in front of Dortmund's defense. We were trying to get in behind, right? And you could see that we have serious intent. Now, what I like about us having had serious intent is that it shows a desire to score early on, to overturn the deficit that we came into the game with. But not only that, it gives the crowd a reason to get behind the team from jump. Now, if we had started poorly, then the crowd may have looked at that and thought, I've invested my time to come to the game. I've invested money to get the season ticket, and now I'm not being given the football that I deserve, the level of football that I deserve. And then the crowd begins to turn against the players. Maybe they boo, or maybe they just silent until a goal is scored, But that our insistence to play with urgency gave them a reason to get behind the boys from the beginning. So that was also very good to see. Now, unfortunately for us, we couldn't really convert any of the few chances that we had in those first 12 minutes. And in the 13th minute until the 25th minute or so, in that 12-minute stretch, what I saw is that Dortmund, they flipped the game on its head, right? They went from being the passive team to the active team, the team that was being now aggressive. And I feel as though the control that we had over Dortmund in the first 12 minutes was nothing compared to the control that they had over us in the 12-minute period between the 13th minute and the 25th minute. When they were in control of us, I was worried. I was thinking, okay, it's Chai. We're going to get tucked in. They're going to put us into a spliff, roll us up, and smoke us like we're nothing. That's what I was truly thinking. And I was thinking it's just going to be a long day at the office again for Chelsea fans. But luckily, we weathered the storm, and the boys, they showed character to get through that tough period. And after that, we went back on the attack, and we were trying to probe, looking for openings, doing the best that we possibly can to get a goal. What I saw in the first half that made me really happy is that we were trying to press Dortmund high. For example, Marco Correa, he won the ball twice early in the first half because he was pushing up high, which I really love to see. I really, really love to see that. And from Kuku, when I saw that from him, it made me happy because he's been slated so much. And when I saw that starting lineup, I was just thinking, I'm not sure Kuku should be playing. But lo and behold, he was one of our best players in the first half. So that's something that was also very positive to see. Now, obviously, we kept pushing. No end product yet. And one thing about our efforts that was disappointing was that when you're looking at the players, it looks like they don't have confidence, Raheem Sterling, for example, he got a chance early on where he was caught in two minds. Does he pass? Does he look for support and pass to a teammate, or does he shoot? And because he couldn't make a decision, the ball was smothered by the goalkeeper, right? Now, when I saw that, I was just thinking, okay, one of our best attacking players in recent weeks has no confidence. So how can we expect anyone else in the front line to have confidence? So yeah, no. Yeah, when I saw that, I was just thinking, we might not score today. But luckily, we kept on pushing and probing, and Ben Chilwell put a delightful cutback across the box, which fell to Raheem Sterling. And at first, he miskicked it, but then he got a second bite at the cherry and he put the ball away to make it 1-0 for Chelsea Football Club. Now, what we did right in order to get the goal is link up play. First of all, was Mr. Kai Havertz, right, with a nice back heel to Kovacic. Then Kovacic doing what he does best and advancing with the ball nicely and laying it off to Chilwell. Chilwell being in a nice attacking position high up the pitch and putting a good ball into the box. Sterling being in the right position to finish that chance off. So it was good team play overall. And what I enjoyed is that even though you could see we're struggling for confidence, we're struggling for fluidity, they keep trying. The endeavor was there, and that's what we needed yesterday. Because when you're coming up against a team like Dortmund, who have been winning, they're doing really well. You're not doing so well, right? You're not playing the fluid football that you want to play. All you can do is show up with endeavor, and that's what the boys did, so we can be proud of that. Now, going into the second half, I don't think I saw the need for us to change anything at all. Yeah, no, there was no need to change anything at all. My one concern though was us getting a second goal, because the goal that we had scored in the first half made the aggregate score 1-1, right? And we had to get another goal to win the game. Now, from the off in the second half, we were the aggressors and we were showing intent, way more intent than Dortmund. And luckily, we got ourselves a penalty, and I think it was genuinely a penalty. Now, some people will disagree, but the reason I say it was genuinely a penalty is because the Dortmund player, I think his name is Marius Wolf, right? I think that's his name, right? I might have gotten that wrong. What he did wrong, in my opinion, is his arm was stuck out. It wasn't down by his side. So he's turning away from the ball, his arm is stuck out, and the ball hits his hand from Chilwell's cross, right? If his arm was by his side and he's still in that turning motion, that penalty should not have been given. But because his arm was stuck out, there's nothing more that the referee can do but to give the penalty. So I believe it was 100% the correct decision. Now, obviously, Jorginho's gone to Arsenal, innit? So Kai Havertz is the man on penalties now. And before he took the first penalty, I was thinking, is my man going to score this? I'm not sure. He's looking a little bit nervous, you know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if he's going to be able to put it away. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to put it away, right? It hit from his point of view, it hit the right post, the bottom part of the right post. Now, luckily for us, there was encroachment from a Chelsea player and Dortmund players. And that meant that the penalty was retaken. And this time, King Kai, he went for the same direction and tried to put it in the exact same spot. But this time, he converted the penalty, putting it nicely into the corner, which was very, very good to see, because it shows that he had trust in himself that he can get this right, Now, some people will say, why was it retaken and all them thing there? So it was retaken because of the fact that a Chelsea player and Dortmund players encroached. And after the ball had hit the post after it had come back off the post, it was cleared by a player that had encroached. Hence, that player had a material effect on the ball, right? I will I will put an image up explaining this nicely so that you can just go through it and understand why the penalty had to be retaken. And this analysis was given by a gentleman named Peter Walton. He used to be a referee, so credit to him for this analysis. It's not just my own analysis based on my own knowledge. I had to do some research. So don't feel bad if you were not sure why it had to be retaken and all them thing there. Now, after we had scored that goal, I was hoping for another one, because as much as we are 2-0 up in this particular game, on aggregate, it's just 2-1. If Dortmund score one goal, right, they make it 2-1. On aggregate, it's 2-2. And then it's even Stevens again. It's anybody's game. So I was hoping for a third goal. And the third goal was difficult to come by, right? Dortmund, after conceding the second, they kind of switched on and they were trying to get at us, trying to get a goal back, to get the aggregate score even. In this time period, we were pegged back. Like there's nothing we could do. They just said, "Aight, you've had your time in the game. Now we're gonna peg you back, right? And there's nothing you can do about it." And as much as I was a bit nervous because of the fact that they had so much possession, what calmed me down is the fact that they weren't doing much with the possession. They're having a lot of the ball, but they weren't converting a lot of clear-cut goal-scoring chances at all. So yeah. And with Dortmund compared to us, I feel as though we deserve the result because of the fact that Dortmund, whilst they were chasing a goal, they didn't look that bothered. Like these guys look chilled. Like it doesn't matter that much if they don't get a goal back, So I think that played a part in the reason why we won the game. We were more bothered about winning than they were, right? Because these guys are chasing the game and it doesn't look like there's any urgency there, So yeah, if I was a Dortmund fan, I would have been very, very disappointed with the lack of urgency. Luckily, we held on, right, against all odds, given the fact that Chelsea have this thing where we'll have a fragile lead and just throw it away. But against all odds, we survived and we got the W in the end. And once we got the W and the referee had blown the whistle, what I saw is Marco Correa being so gassed. He was so gassed with the win. And I understand why he was so gassed with the win. First of all, going to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. He used to play at Brighton. He's never seen this before, right? That's one thing. The other thing is the fact that I think for him personally, he's gotten so much criticism this season. People saying he's not good enough. He's not worth 60 million. Jamie Carragher saying this man can't defend. Understand? Him having a home invasion that he had to deal with. Him getting sick and having an illness which meant that he couldn't perform at his best in certain parts of the season, right? With all of that going on, and for him to just get to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, having put in a very good performance in the round of 16 second leg, I think for him that would have been so massive. He played well, bro. He played well. I don't look at him and think, oh, he did this wrong, he did this wrong. No, he was on it. In terms of high turnovers, and what I mean is winning the ball back high up the pitch, he was excellent. His passes were good. I'm very, very happy with Kuku. Very happy. There was an instance where Dortmund were attacking and he came out to the player who had the ball. And I was thinking, Kuku doing the same thing that he does again, right? Just diving in. But upon closer inspection, I could see that he did that and he got cover, so it was okay. Now, okay, I've spoken about Kukureya first, and I think I'll give him a score of 7. It was very, very good. Now, just to take it back to the beginning, as you would usually do, Kepa Arrizabalaga, he gets a 6.5. And the reason he gets a 6.5 is because he didn't have too much to do, but when he was called upon, he did a good job. So an example of that is from one of the Dortmund free kicks. He made a very good save to his right. And then I remember it was in the second half. He faced a shot, I think it was from Marius Wolf, right? And he had to make another very good save down to his right. So that was good to see from Kepa. And yeah, just a good performance, 6.5. Now, Ben Chilwell, left wing back. It has to be a 7. At least a 7. You could argue it's between 7 and 7.5, but it's at least a 7 out of 10. Because this man was an outlet for us yesterday, and he is part of the reason why we scored. Even though Sterling, how can I say this? He fluffed his first attempt at the ball when the cutback came in. I would still say that is Chilwell's assist, Chilwell made that chance happen. Obviously, he wasn't the only one. He wasn't the only factor, but he was a big part as to why we scored. And throughout the game, he was providing a threat on that side. So 100%, 7 out of 10. Maybe you can even give him 7.5. Left centre back. Who played left centre back yesterday? Oh, yeah. Marco Correa. I've already given him a 7. Central centre back Kalidou Koulibaly. Kalidou Koulibaly gets a 7 out of 10. Solid 7 out of 10. I think he was very good yesterday. He was in the right positions at the right times. He wasn't making any rash decisions as we've seen him do over the course of his Chelsea career so far in certain games. He was calm, collected, and he was just solid for the team. And we needed that oomph, from him, given the fact that Thiago Silva is out until April, which is long for us, but it is what it is. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for him. Wesley Fofana gets a 6.5. I feel like he had a quiet game. He didn't have much to do, but when called upon, he defended well. In my opinion. So he gets a 6.5 out of 10. As for Reece James gets a 6 out of 10 for me. Now, some people will say that's harsh. I should give him higher, but I don't feel like I saw enough of Reece. There was one instance in the first half where we had been under pressure from Dortmund and he put a delightful ball into the box, right? And that set up a good chance for us, right? And that was good to see, but there wasn't enough of that from him. But then again, he was left out of the side for Leeds because of a tight hamstring, right? And he's still getting better from his injury. So you know what? It is what it is. We'll allow it, and we just move. Now, then we had a double pivot of Mateo Kovacic and Enzo Fernandez. With Enzo Fernandez, I have to give him a 6 out of 10 because, again, I think it's a similar situation to Reece. I didn't see too much from him. Yes, he did help to win the ball back here and there, but it wasn't enough. I didn't see enough from him, I feel like he was just there sometimes, Sometimes, yes, he did help to win back the ball, but he didn't involve himself enough for me, right? And I'm hoping that will change because you don't want that to be a constant thing where a player is kind of just there. As for Captain Cover, 7 out of 10. 7.5 out of 10. Let's go with 7.5 out of 10. I feel like it was a very good performance from him when helping to win the ball back, advancing it so very well, and that was crucial for the first goal, absolutely crucial. So he gets a 7.5 out of 10 for me. Now the front three, João Felix can get a 6.5 because I feel what he contributed to the team is his technical ability to help us move forward in a somewhat similar manner to Mateo Kovacic. Now, as much as he did do that, there wasn't much end product from him this game, so I'm not going to give him anything higher than 6.5. Raheem Sterling gets a 6.5 as well. Nah, give him a 7. We'll give him a 7 because he scored. I think he's similar to João Felix. He did a decent job, right? But because of the fact that he scored, he can get a slightly higher score. Now, as for the man up top, the best on earth, the silky German, Kai Havertz, he gets a 7 out of 10. Now, the reason I'm giving him 7 out of 10 is because I feel like he linked up well with the other attacking players. He made himself a nuisance for Dortmund's defense. And he missed his first penalty, but he converted the second. So that makes me happy. That makes me smile. He gets a 7 out of 10 for that. Now, looking to Graham Potter. What can we say about Graham Potter? I might have been wrong about Graham Potter. He may be a lot better than I thought he was. And I haven't said it on the channel, but like in my personal life, I have said, like, Potter out and all this, right? Maybe Potter in, bro. Maybe now it's Potter in. However, what he needs to do from this result is he needs to build on it. The team that he put out was a bit weird. You're looking at that team and you're thinking, I'm not sure about this, Graham. But it worked. It worked. He knew what he was doing and we got the result that we needed. Now, I'm going to say, you know what? Let's give him a chance. Give him a chance. And it's up to him now to just build off of these results. I think we're playing Aston Villa at home Saturday. Build on this result. Then after that, build some more and some more and some more and get us to like 6th, 7th, in the table. Then I will look at it and say, you know what? Maybe Graham Potter is the man to take us forward. But anyway, that's all I have to say. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and all them thing there. Peace, people.